Welcome, everybody. It is January 31st, Tuesday. I'm Stuart Cohn, and this is the Ask Stuart Hour. We have a lot of topics to cover. I want to thank Hans. I want to thank Sam for sending stuff in. Plus, there's been a lot of posts in our Facebook community. Now, I will always monitor the Facebook community. I love it when you all, I could have said y'all because I'm in the Mid-South, help each other, give ideas. I don't have every answer or every solution. So we learn from each other, and I love it when you guys share best practices. That's awesome. And what I love even more, my friends, my boot campers, is when I see a show of gratitude. When somebody says, hey, thanks somebody for sharing with me and helping me. That's a beautiful thing. I love that spirit. That's what boot camp is all about. And I just wanted to let you know that I acknowledge those interactions we're seeing on Facebook, and I try to pick up on stuff. I try to give it a little bit of time for you guys to discuss it. Then I'll chime in, give you my 2 cents, and then we could bring it to the Ask Stuart Hour too. So if you have an issue, a question, a challenge, or a comment to what we're talking about, go ahead and type it in. I try to do. Hey, Sandy's here. Welcome, Sandy. I try to do a balanced job of talking to you, getting to the questions that were sent in before, and also attending to your comments and questions. The first thing I want to say, I want to address, though, is that really it's not a medical form per se, but those of you who have been following that I have a partial ship charter on the new Ama Christina. We leave April 17th. Yay! And on the river cruise, this is friends and family, and I sent everybody the form that I created using JotForm to capture what I call special information. No doubt, the cruise line, in this case AMA, they have their own check-in form, and they do request to know any special dietary concerns or considerations. And of course, even though I have a part ship charter, my guests can of course call in the AMA or communicate to me. The reason why I put that form together is because I spent over half my career on the supplier side, and I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Really sad stories when if the emergent medical staff knew about specific history or allergies to medications, or if somebody isn't well enough to remember their dose or they take their meds, whatever, that having that information in writing is helpful. No, it's not a HIPAA violation. That was a great question that was brought up on the online forum. And then you're saying, but it's not, is it private? Well, of course, JotForm does use secure server. When it's sent by email to me and an email copy goes back to the guest, well, the question is, when's the last time your email has been hacked? Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't, I don't know. There's one of those things where I'd rather try to save a life than worry about somebody in some foreign country seeing how often somebody takes a steroid. You know what I mean? So I just want to just add this commentary, if you didn't see my long diatribe on Facebook, which is that I made it expressly clear to my family and friends that it was purely optional to fill out. And I did ask for any dietary concerns, and I also asked for specific things around medical stuff, about what medications taking, what dose, and what your physician and even pharmacist is. And I did have a good number of people who completed and shared it. And I made it all optional. The other thing I'm going to suggest to you, my friends, is that if you're uncomfortable with this, and I, again, this is a judgment-free zone, but especially since I'm escorting it, and I want to just, and we have a mixed group. We have folks my age, really young people in their early 50s, and we have older people who are also young because they're young and they're hip and they're excited to travel. They're in their 70s and whatever. I just want to be there for them in the case that God forbid. So here's what I would suggest to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that form and print it as a PDF blank and send it out to all the guests who did not choose to fill it out. I'm going to make one more recommendation. Go ahead, fill it out, put it in an envelope, seal it, and bring it with you on your journey. And in case of the God forbid happens, the unexpected happens, just let us know in advance that you've got it. It's on your person. It's in your stateroom. Notice I don't say cabin because stateroom is a more upscale word than cabin. Yeah? And then at least we can access the information if it's needed. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys if you're uncomfortable with it, or if a guest is uncomfortable, say no problem. You don't have to hand it over. And cool beans. Gina just wrote back saying, I thought it was a great suggestion to put it in a sealed envelope. All right, Gina, this is great. So I just wanted to express that right there. Belvin said, where can we view that form? Hey, Belvin, you're new. I know this is not your first rodeo here at the Ask Stuart Hour. I think this is your second, but I'm so glad you're back. I put the form in the Facebook community. It's in the Facebook community. So you can actually do it, click it, give it a whirl. I use JotForm. I can print it out too, and I can put it in Boot Camp as a PDF. How's that? Maybe that would help too, but it's there. Hans said, Stuart, there are a lot of conferences coming up what are your thoughts on attended conferences, even if you really can't afford it? Also, maybe taking a fam trip, river cruise, when you really can't afford it. That's a great question, Hans. So there are a lot of conferences coming up. I don't know if anybody who is on today is with the group Nexion, but I'm doing an all weekend group summit for them this weekend. I leave Thursday. It's Friday to Sunday, and I will be exhausted when it's over because I'm teaching, training every day. I'm very excited. That one's going to be worthwhile to go to. I hope more organizations do that kind of stuff. But to answer your question, Hans, I will tell you that, going to these conferences, you need to go with a purpose, which is either that, now listen up everybody, either that there are specific trainers or teachers or coaches or educators or speakers that you want to see, that you want to learn from, specific, and especially topics and subject matters, right? So there's two things. Either the conference has a specific theme and like group focused, okay, which you don't see much of. When I say much of, you don't see many conferences out there, right, that are themed. It's everything, which is disappointing. So either there are specific speakers you want to learn from, or the specific topic theme of the conference, but also it could be an opportunity for you to interact with the suppliers who are going to be there. Now, please understand, I spent half my career on the supplier side, half of that side was on the consortia side, right? On the consortia side. So I ran conferences. I put together the first Nest conference. I did multiple conferences early on with Travel Savers, later on with Vacation.com that I helped start as well, from its inception when we all rolled up together. And, a lot of times it's a lot of suppliers doing the same old. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I love the suppliers, but a lot of them give the same old, dull, boring product presentations you get from your BDM every time they visit. You don't need to hear again. You don't need to spend money to go see them, hear it all over again. They don't even talk in features. They don't even talk in benefits. They talk in features. It drives me nuts, can you tell? See, I have the rare opportunity to go to so many conferences. That's what I do for a living. I get hired to speak. So I sit in on these sessions, I see them, and most of them are terrible. They just regurgitate the same stuff you already know. So unless, Hans, you want to meet with specific suppliers, and even if you can, listen to me carefully, set up meetings in advance so you don't miss, and you can structure deals, you can structure co-op programs or promotion, or just get ideas, then it's a winning investment. But there's got to be a purpose because, yes, you're taking time out of the office, you're putting money into the travel. What do you want to get from that show? Will it deliver for you? Because if you're going for a social event, rock and roll, then it'll be just a social event you're paying big money for. Now, one more comment, and I'll get off my diatribe horse here and take a sip of coffee because I'm running out of breath, which is that I'm a big believer in fam trips if it's an experience that truly needs you to be there, and it's an experience that you want to sell a whole lot more of because you need to help a lot more people experience that. Did you get that? So, you know, if it's a fun fan trip, you just want to go here and have fun and this kind of stuff, rock and roll. But if it's a big investment, Hans, your note said, you know, it's a lot of money, it's a big investment, you don't really have the money, this kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. The first time I cruised Alaska and did the land blew my mind, and it transformed my understanding of the product and the experiences. So I would work for Princess Cruises at the time. I could come home and talk about it, saying, I was there. I did this. You got to talk in adjectives and verbs, not just nouns. You will be better at some of these DSMs and BDMs who I love, but some of them don't. They were never taught how to talk in benefits versus just features. Experience in river cruise will change your life. Tell me, folks, who out there has done a river cruise for the first time and it changed your life. You love it, you adore it, and you can't stop talking about it. That's this guy. And I'm going on the Amber Christina in like, I don't know, 75 days. Okay, here we go. We got so much to talk about. I didn't spend too much time on that, but that was a great question. Dan says, thanks for the great advice. You bet, my friend. Belvin says, thanks. Natisha says, I am. So you are, I don't remember what, see, I go so fast, I don't remember what questions I asked. Oh, are you with Nexion? I don't remember. Belvin should start a group travel conference. Can I tell you something, Belvin? And listen to me. I've never said this outside of this office right now, but I have already talked to the Memphis, now you tell me what you think of this, the Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau, if I could speak properly, about doing a joint project to have a morph of a training camp and a travel agent fam here in Memphis. Would you like that? This town is so cool. I'd love you to come here. Sandy says, Nest, Las Vegas. You remember it, the Palm Hotel. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy and I go way back. Dan says, boot camp is better than a typical conference. Yeah, and I agree because it's focused, but what you see these days is you rarely see specifically focused conferences. Hans says, great thoughts and information. You bet. Dawn says, bingo on the fam trip comment. Make sure that fam trip is where you want to put your focus and or the company that you want to work with. That's what separates the pros from the MLM, in for the, yes, right, multi-level marketers in for the fam discounts. You got it. And Gina she just wrote it. She's in for Memphis. How cool is that? We got conversations going on all over the place. Thank you, Natisha. You and Nexion, very, very cool. Natisha, did we meet? Tell me, did we meet? Did you go to the conference in San Diego? I did the keynote there. I did a bunch of training out there. Tell me if we've met. But I was out there. It was a great conference. Dawn says, River Cruise definitely changed my life. Ramona says, I'm with Nexion. Your program filled up quickly and was not able to get in. Have a great training. Thank you very much. And just so you guys know, my boot campers here, having put together that program inspired a lot of new thinking and new stuff. So just wait to see what I'm bringing to boot camp for you guys. Wow. I'm going to continue to up the value. Natisha says she's in from Memphis. Cool beans. And no, we have not met yet, but we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. So am I. Hang on. Coffee time. Coffee time. Everybody take a breath. Here we go. All right. Let me dig right in here. Okay, Sam. This is Sam. Question here. She says, Stuart, now listen, everybody. This is really very interesting, and I'm going to read it quick, give you my answer. Stuart, you've heard me say that for the first time I'm exhibiting in a local business expo where they expect over 5,000 attendees, which is considered to be a great turnout for a small community. It's St. Patrick weekend, and so Sam's going to feature a small private tour of Ireland, but that should also feature river cruising as well. However, when she reached out to the BDM at a major river cruise company to see what type of support they could offer Sam, she was told that they don't support that kind of marketing effort because they don't see any bookings or enough bookings to make it worthwhile. Is this the prevalent attitude that I can expect before I contact my Brandon BDM from a different company? I thought I should, check to see if I was just way off base and even calling BDM and asking what kind of support or suggestions they could offer. Sam, that's a great question. So let me answer it two different ways. Number one, it's true. It's true that the majority of these expos and events like this, you end up just giving away a lot of candy and a lot of cards. Very little sales get done there, unless there's some affinity, unless there's some true connectivity with the event and your booth and your trip and your travel, so they know to look for you. But it's like going to a flea market. It's like, it's like it's an impulse buy kind of a thing, and people pick up stuff if they're interested in it. Maybe there's a couple people that might be interested, Sam, in picking up your stuff. That's cool. You'll make some friends, have some conversations. That takes a commitment to follow up after, because you don't want to give out your card. Trust me. You may give out 1 million cards, and you're going to go home and sit by the phone and wait for the phone to ring, and it's not going to ring. Your mission, should you try to accept it, is to get people on your list, is to say, hey, can I send you I have a free PDF. I'll send you the top 10 things to do in Budapest. And you've got an email. You need to capture lists. You need to build your list. Because trying to make a sale on the spot, and so these BDMs and DSMs know that because they have a limited budget. Trust me, I was a BDM and DSM for many years. Then I became the manager, and then the director of field sales, and then the vice president. So I get it. So my point to you is that I'm not surprised. This is the first point, that they said no. I'm disappointed they didn't say, hey, let's roll up our sleeves, Sam, let's come up with a plan, because most of these shows don't work. My time, your time, our investment won't work unless we have a plan. And then, Sam, you're going to need to make a commitment to me that you're going to follow up at that list and you're going to sell my product. We're going to have another event. Because, Sam, I may come with you. We spend all this kind of money. We're going to spend a Saturday. I won't be with my family. You won't be with yours. And you're going to get these leads. And what if you sell them someplace else? I've been used. Not abused, but used. So maybe the BDM DSM has no good ideas, has never seen a success story, and just doesn't believe in it. But maybe they can give you materials to hand out. Not the best thing in the world, because handing it out, people go home with a stack this high, and what do they do with it? I don't know. They use it at the bottom of the bird cage in the fireplace, or maybe they read it. But I wouldn't quit. So my number 2 advice, Sam, is I wouldn't quit. I could keep making phone calls, but also when you make these calls, folks, and you have an event like this, have a purpose. Hans asked before about going to conferences. What's the purpose? You're making an investment. Well, Sam, when you go to this show, this exhibit, this conference, great, it's going to be a ton of people. But think of the people who are going. Why are they going? What are they looking for? Why do they need to meet you? Why do they care? And what's your purpose? What's your mission? How are you going to build your list? What's the story you want to tell that gets people interested in you and they feel comfortable giving you their email address? What fun thing can you do in your booth versus just have that table that separates you from the people giving out candy? Of course, the kids are going to come and take all the candy, but what's there really needs to be a plan. So if I'm your BDM, final note, or DSM, and you call me, and I'm going to say, what's your plan? Well, it's $500. It's all day Saturday. We can give out brochures and da-da-da. I'm going to say, no. But if you tell me that you're going to have a series of seats set up, a series of whatever, and there's going to be this, and you're going to not there to sell, but you're going to help people, I don't know, solve problems. People travel because they solve problems. They're bored, they're exhausted, they need to be re-energized, whatever, I don't know. What is it? Can you go in with a strategic partner too? It's got to be a purpose, or else you're not going to get that money. I'm not going to give up my Saturday or my money because, these BDMs, DSMs have a very limited co-op fund. Trust me, very limited. And they have to show productivity for it. It's what's called return on investment. You guys know that. ROI. And these shows don't necessarily do it. They may be good for branding and getting a few leads here and there, but it's real tough unless you have a specific purpose. I hope that helps. Let me look at some comments here. Sam says, I've never been to Tennessee, though I have relatives who own a resort. Really? who own a resort here. Cool. Ellie says, hey, Ellie, welcome. Are you new? Hey, if you're brand new, let me know. I know that Natisha, this is your first time here. Ellie, is your first time here? I don't remember. Tell me, welcome. Put me down from Memphis. Cool. Dawn says, I totally buy into a boot camp weekend, especially get to know other boot campers. Super cool, Dawn. Sandy says, your mission, should you choose to accept it, nice cultural reference. Indeed, mission impossible. I just did a keynote for a 2-hour, it was a national sales meeting for a local company here, and the theme was Mission Possible. Very exciting. I loved it. So that's on my mind, that music. It used to be one of my favorite shows, Mission Possible, from the late 60s, 70s. Me and my dad, that was someplace we really connected on Mission Impossible. We really connected there. Ellie is new. Hey, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And by the way, everybody, don't be shy. If you've got a microphone or a camera, and you want me to turn that mic on or your camera on so we can see your beautiful faces out there or hear your beautiful voices, let me know. Only a couple of you have done it. I'm happy to do it so we can hear you ask your question, and then when you're done, we'll shut you down so that we don't hear you, I don't know, sneezing or the dog barking, but just let me know. I'd be more than happy to welcome you here. Taliski's here. Good morning and welcome. Glad you're here. Just joined last week. That's right. Ellie is new in boot camp. Welcome. I'm so grateful that you're here. Hello, Judy. Judy's in the house. All right, now we're going to get down here. Keep typing in your questions and your comments, friends. Now we're going to go to Hans. Listen, everybody, because I'm going to need your feedback on this too. It appears to me the most challenging aspect of groups is the group promotion. And what he's saying is getting folks to sign up and go. So once you overcome the hurdle of finding the group, getting the group leader side of the agreement, all that stuff, which is, of course, a challenge, but that's what we're here to learn. That's what we're here to become experts at. Now we got to get the people to sign up. So getting folks to sign up and other aspects of the group, like finding the group leader, administering the group, escorting, are challenging. However, getting the folks to join the group are tough. I understand the group launch sequence. Group launch sequence now for our new folks here, Ellie and Natisha. That's open to you right now as soon as you join boot camp. Watch the group launch sequence over and over and over again, because most people say it's the opposite approach of what they've been taking for years when they go to launch a group. But Hans says it's supposed to help with this. However, are there other specific promotional methods that folks have used that have worked? So I'm going to give you another idea, but I also want to make sure you guys all understand the concept behind group launch sequence, which is the reason why I wrote the group launch sequence is because all too often the common practice is group leader says, oh yeah, we're going to go. Everybody says, oh yeah, this is great, this is awesome. And then we go out there, we put the price out there, and we say, okay, we're waiting. Come and call, come and book. Cricket, cricket. Nobody calls, nobody books. Why? Because we put all the information out there. We didn't sell it. Even though people are jumping up and down saying, I want to go, I want to go, they're not going to spend $3 grand, $4 grand, $5 grand, $6 grand and go with a group of people they may not normally travel with unless they understand the value, the package. And one of the hardest things, especially Lynn is having to do with her group, is leading with the price, because that's what they want. Tell me how much, tell me how much. No, I'm not going to tell you how much, because it's going to be a lot more than what you're going to find online. Oh my God, then I'm not going to book with you. Really? But if you book that online, which you can certainly do, you're going to get you guys know what I'm going to say, the bare bones, stripped down, off the shelf package. You're going to come back terribly disappointed that you missed out on so much. Basically, while that's going to cost less, your disappointment cost will be substantially higher. What's a disappointment? All the stuff you missed. So the whole point between the group launch sequence is to lead people along a managed path, to give information, to present, not to talk price. Not to talk price to the guests until that very last presentation. Could be the third one, the second one, the fourth one, but at least what you're doing along the way is you're demonstrating the incredible value, the high value, the supersized package, because you're not going to let them miss a thing. And then when you hear the price, you're going to be like, wait a minute, everything you just, yeah, that's included. Now I did that with my river cruise group, and people were driving me, how much? The price will be finalized. by that Tuesday of the last presentation. The price will be finalized. We're putting together an incredible, more inclusive package. If you don't want to say all, say more inclusive package. So the other idea I want to give you, Hans, that I've seen successful sometimes, and I'm going to go to the boards to see what you guys say, is if you're able to get together all together live, if it's a local organization or an association, and all in one night. Let's say you've been building it up, because you definitely have to build momentum. You can't just have people walk into a room and say, okay, credit card please for your deposit. You still have to do the whisper campaign. You still have to do the save the date. You still have to build tremendous momentum, because when they come into that room, you don't want them leaving without them giving up money. So if they're used to getting together, especially if they can all gather in one place, and if the spouses, if the husband and wife, whatever, the couples are there, so both decision makers, let's say, are there, or the families are all there, so they don't have to use the excuse, well, I need to go home and talk about it, let you know in the morning. No, because they're not going to do it. Then you can tell people, hey, this meeting at 8 p.m., we're going to do a big presentation of the incredible package we put together. The price will be revealed. The bonuses will be revealed. Bring your checkbooks, bring your credit card, because space is very limited. And the first 50 people who deposit, which will be fully refundable, you don't want to freak them out. You know, give them a week in case there's buyer's remorse, but there won't be, because you know what I'm saying, you're sort of laying the road for, it's okay, I'll give you money back if you wake up in the morning and say, my goodness, I got a dentist appointment a year from tomorrow. I can't go on this trip with you, Stuart. If you can gather them, Hans, into the room, make the presentation, pass around the sign-up sheet, get the money right there. As a BDM, DSM, I did some of those events, and it doesn't always work, but it can work. But you still need to build up before. You still need to try to hold that price point close, because you don't want people making assumptions by just hearing the price. They need to hear the benefits, all the benefits. And then when they hear the price and go, wow, that's pretty darn good. And you go with that limited availability. It's also what's called that bandwagon approach. You know, if you're going, you're going. So everybody looks around the room and they go, you're going, whoops, I'm going, she's going, we're going to go too. Now, because sometimes, you know, with the group launch sequence, if they're around the country and you're doing it virtually, people are located all over. It's harder for everybody to communicate, because everyone is, the worst thing in the world is what happens today is when people sit at home and they go, why don't we wait and see? And guess what happens? Everybody waits and sees. And guess what happens? Nobody goes, because they're waiting for the next guy to jump. Nobody jumps first. So yes, Hans, you tell me if you like that, you think it could work. I know it won't be good for every group unless everybody's there and local. Judy says, Stuart, I began to start my group launch sequence for a trip I will escort 2018. I already have 8 people ready once I have the trip together. I only set it as a cruise northbound to Alaska with some land, and not even the date yet. No one has asked about cost or details yet. Once I have it all together, what should my next step be? Well, Judy, this is really awesome that you already have 8 people ready, and all you're doing, so you started the Whisper campaign. So what you need to do now is go watch that group launch sequence, because I spell out the step-by-step. So you've got the Whisper campaign. What you're doing now is you're in the momentum phase. Judy, you're building up tremendous momentum and anticipation. So now you need to schedule the presentations, the events, the sequence of events. And the purpose of the event, the sequence of events, is to continue building momentum, sharing the incredible features, not just benefits. You're going to talk in adjectives and verbs. How you're going to transform my life by going on this trip. Don't tell me it's a big cabin, big deal. Tell me what the big cabin's going to do for me, what I can do in that big cabin, why it makes a difference, or big balcony, whatever, right? Benefits, not features. Benefits, not features. And you're also going to eliminate, this is important, Judy, so you're going to set up these sequences, eliminate the objections and the obstacles. You're going to remove, listen carefully everybody, remove any issue standing in the way that could slow me down, prevent me from saying yes, I'm coming. Because the reason why people don't buy from you today is because you're either giving them something they didn't need, didn't ask for, don't want, or you're not giving them something they wanted, had asked for, didn't tell you they wanted because you didn't ask the right questions, and they move on. And that happens when you send a big proposal or you're talking to somebody and they never call you back because you missed the mark. It's not their fault. It's your fault. It's my fault. Do you understand? So, Judy, that's what you need to do, the sequence of events now to build it up. And you want to actually tell them the date, and maybe in your case it's March 11th. On March 11th is the final, and that's deposit day. But remember, everybody, one of the big secrets of the group loan sequence is the VIP sale, the VIP event, where just a limited group of people have that opportunity to get in first. That really sets the pace, sets the tone. They feel special. And then once everybody else sees, oh, look, the VIPs, that's what we're calling them, have already booked. So now it's okay for us to book too, sweetheart, because they're going, now we can go. The trip's been validated because the president's going, the CEO's going, or the top people in the family, or the big wigs in the organization are going. Somebody's got to validate it. Have the VIPs do it, and they're going to feel special that you can help them first. Talisky says, yes, the term more inclusive is a much better term. I agree with you, because you can't say all could get you into trouble. Sandy says, I like to put the incentives in place for the group leader to truly be a Pied Piper and have him or her be the major catalyst in getting his or her contacts to join the group. Hands down, Sandy, that's the case. If you've got the right group leader whose mission is not to travel free, because then they're only going to be self-centered, selfish, and self-interested, but if their true passion, their true mission, what they really care about most is that this is a successful group and they want everybody to come. It's important that everybody travels. That you've got a great group leader, then they will sign on for the incentive. And it doesn't have to be the travel free, because they could be loaded and not need it. And they could be selfless and say, you know what, I don't want it. Give us a group cocktail party. Give something back to the group if we hit certain levels. That's a wonderful, selfless, giving group leader. But give them make them the catalyst. Give them every reason to push, talk it up. Because, man, if everybody in a group, and this goes for you too, Hans, if they don't know who you are, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to take it from somebody they already know, who they trust. They need to be empowered, but you can't force the group leader to do that, right? Even if they sign the group agreement letter, still doesn't mean they're going to do it. They need to be truly vested with a pure heart, and they need to put group first, not self first. I'll say it again. They need to put group first, not self first. Coffee break. Oh, we're at the halfway mark. There's more comments and questions. I see, Belvin, you've got one there. I want to tell you here that, tell me what you think of this. Because so far, a lot of you guys, I know it's in the future, and you haven't signed up yet. We have good numbers, but not great numbers. But I thought it would be fun for sort of a change of pace to bring in some friends who are experts in areas where I want to learn too, and we have direct access to these people that are on the supplier side and the brands. So I have, I don't know if you guys know Mary Lynn. She's a director at Royal Caribbean. When I was a director of field sales with Celebrity, Mary was on the, I think she was on the Royal team. She's always been on the Royal team, I think. She's great. She's extremely knowledgeable. And when I went to my executive friends at Royal, and I said, okay, who's number one in groups? I need to get them in my boot camp so we can ask questions and we can get a piece of their knowledge. Okay, she said, hands down, Mary. So Mary's going to be with us on February 16th. So what do you think of that? And then I've got we talk so much about river cruises, so much. Let's get the inside scoop, some not necessarily marketing, but the mechanics of river cruise groups. Letty Padilla, who I have just met, I didn't know her, but my friend Christine Karst, who's the owner, the co-owner and executive vice president of the company, I said, Christine, who's number one on your team so we can learn more about groups? And then they've got a specific passion focus and they could share it with us. And she said, Letty, and Letty sounds amazing, amazing. So you can have direct access, direct contact. What do you think? That's Feb 23, and then Feb 28, I know I'm loading you guys up, but if you can't make it live, I record these. But I need to know if you like this, if you want more of this, and if you want to recommend companies or people. A very good friend, Ron Golaski, he's with Celebrity Cruises. He's now Vice President of National Accounts. He and I started at Celebrity at the same time many years ago. We were both field sales directors. He's a super nice guy. For many years, he was the Vice President of Meetings, Incentives, and Charters. He's amazing. He has so much information to share. So one of his expertise too is in fundraising groups. A lot of questions come up about successful fundraising groups because there's so many great ideas, but there's liability, there's risk. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I'm hoping that Mary and Letty and Ron can help us. And then right after that, we'll come back with a Ask Stuart Hour with just us kids. But do you like it? Do you not like it? I need to know if you want this stuff, if that's good and no more, if you want more. I promise to keep it well balanced with just us kids. But I also love, bringing in even more talent, more experts to help us here in boot camp. Belvin says, do you at least tell clients how much they should save for their deposit during the group promotion revealing stage? Yes, I would say, Belvin, that's fine. That's fine. You can tell them how much, $100, $200, $500, whatever it is. But something, I know this sounds crazy, but I did this with my group. Give them a very healthy time frame for a fully refundable deposit. Because people are a lot more comfortable giving money when they know they have a day, a week, a month, especially if you're really far out, knowing that if they wake up in the morning, they change their mind or whatever, that they get their money back. And you're not going to make any commitments to any suppliers or give that money away just yet. You're going to keep it in the bank, and you're going to wait, you're going to hope, you're going to keep the excitement, the momentum going. But yes, I think that's a great idea, Belvin, to at least say how much the initial deposit is. Hans says, thank you. You're very, very welcome. Sam says, Stuart, if you can turn my mic on, I have a few comments about your group launch sequence. All right, I'll be with you in just a second. Sam. Let me just run through these. Ellie says, is the group launch sequence in the first few videos of week 1? No. Ellie, when you go into boot camp, you're going to see there's on the right-hand sidebar, you'll see there's links to get to week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and you're brand new, so each week is going to open up after 7 days. But if you keep looking down, you're going to see it's going to say the Ask Stuart Hour podcast, and then you're going to see group launch sequence. Click on group launch sequence. That's available to you right now, Ellie and Natisha. Okay, and you can watch those modules. There's PDFs in there too. So please go ahead and check that out. It's very powerful, and it's opposite of what most of us have been doing in this business for years. Opposite. Dawn says, Piper, hate that term. I know, Dawn, you share this with us, and it's interesting, right? Different words have different meanings to different people, and in our business, sometimes Piper can mean the group leader, the person who brings everybody along, and sometimes it has negative connotations. Dawn says he led the rats and possibly children to their deaths. So as we talk about this, maybe it's not a great idea to go out and tell somebody, you're my Pied Piper. Would you like to be the Pied Piper? I'm looking for Pied Pipers, because you and I know what that means in a business context, but they may not. Don't even use the word group leader, because a lot of people already have other jobs, have a family, they have responsibilities. They don't want to have another one. Group leader. Even though you know, and I know, they're the group leader. Does that make sense? So, Dawn, thanks for sharing that. Han said, I enjoy having your guests on. Mary will be great to hear. Cool beans. Thank you. Taliski says, this sounds great. Good deal. Hans says, fantastic speakers. Thanks for getting these. You're very welcome. Belvin's in favor of it. Ramona says, I love having your experts here with us. It gets my creativity flowing. Beautiful. Natisha says, yes, more experts sound great. Beautiful. Ellie says, I love to hear other ideas. Where do you sign up? Oh, in boot camp, Ellie, I'm sorry. Yes, in boot camp, on that same sidebar, you will see where you can click to RSVP for each session. All right, you can RSVP for each session. I also put it in Facebook, but also it's in boot camp. You bet, Ellie. All right, Sam. We're going to turn Sam's microphone on. I just want to make sure I got to that key question. Hans, you have another question about escorting I want to get to, and there's some other things I want to mention too. But Sam, we're going to come to you now. Hang on there. I'm going to turn Sam's microphone on. She wants to make a comment about, wait, I'm looking for you. Hold on there. I'm looking for you. Hey, my friend Laura's here. Hey, Laura. Welcome. Super cool. Laura is, okay, is an expert, an amazing expert in talking and speaking and giving people the ability to express their thoughts and communicate it in the most loving way. She just blows my mind with her expertise. Sam, where are you? I'm looking for you. Hang on there. Karen, Laura. I don't understand. Did I lose you, Sam? Where are you? There you are. Okay. That was weird. Hey, this is live TV. All right, unmute. Sam, you're on the air.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can. Sorry about that. I couldn't find your name.
Well, I have been using the group launch sequence for the past year to launch my private tour of Ireland, and it's worked great. But I want to tell you a couple of things that I ran into with the with Brendan Vacations. I'll just say their name. They're the company I'm working with. I did not release the price until I was ready to launch it, and we launched it at a kind of a coffee morning at someone's home, and I called it a VIP unveiling, and invited the people who had shown interest, and there were about, well, there were 9 people who came, and some of them came after a 2 or 3 hour drive, which surprised me. I didn't think they would all show up, but I did not tell them the price until at this meeting. And then I held my breath. Not that I don't have faith in you, but I held my breath because the price was just under $4,000 per person, plus air, which was an outrageous price for what the tour included. Not one person brought up the price or even had a question about the price. But in the previous year, I had been either mailing or emailing something to them about every 3 or 4 weeks to build up the interest in the group. But just before my unveiling, I hear from Brendan Vacations that they want to change out some of my hotels. That had already been confirmed. And because we were not on deposit yet, I'm sure they looked at us and looked at my group and thought, well, she hasn't taken any deposits, so let's ask her if she'll change things around. But I used this, it kind of set me back for a minute, but then I used this as a negotiating moment with them and was able, I said, here's the things that are important to me. I do not want the price to increase, and I want to upgrade some of the hotels, and I want to add something else in to make it even more of a value to my clients. So they came back, and we went back and forth on the price. The price did go over, and I said, nope, I'm sticking to the price, so you decide what you want to do about that. The end result is Brendan, I don't know what they did about the price, but they gave me pretty much everything I wanted, stayed within the price. We upgraded 2 of the hotels to manor houses, and we were already staying at Ashford Castle, so that went along with kind of the other, with that kind of a stay. And at one of the manor houses, they included dinner each night. We were spending 2 nights there, which is like a $50 euro per person benefit. But what I did with that, now at Ashford Castle, you're greeted by a Pied Piper. You're greeted by a piper. I did not release that information to the clients yet, to the passengers. That's gonna be one of the things I kind of reveal at the last minute. And I have not told them about the dinners. Again, I'm gonna, kind of, maybe I won't even tell them until we're on our way to this manor house in the bus and say, oh, by the way, I've managed to arrange for you to have dinner each night, complimentary, So I'm kind of not telling them everything, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm not revealing every detail of my itinerary. So
I love it. I think it's outstanding, especially if, of course, if it's not going to interfere, if there could be no negative consequences, right? If it won't interfere with something that's already scheduled, or they had their heart set on doing something else, but they see it as a pure gift, purely, wow, this is awesome. Man, here, what happens here, Sam, and you know this, and everybody listen up, is that you're positioning yourself as the most important person in their lives right now. You have put this together. You have thought through surprises and truly care. You truly care about this experience. You want them to have the best, and they will never look elsewhere. They'll never need cause or reason because you're going over the board.
And one other thing I did, Stuart, at the VIP unveiling, I asked how many people knew friends or family who might be interested. And pretty much all of them raised their hand, because I said the success of this group, it's a small group, but the success of this group is dependent on a minimum. I didn't tell them we were like 1 or 2 people away from the minimum, but I said, would you be willing to contact them if I give you a flyer to give them, and attached to the flyer I put a postcard with the postage prepaid just saying, I heard about your trip, would you please call me, and put a blank there for them to provide their name and contact. I've already received 2 of those back and have signed 2 more. I signed up another couple yesterday and a single yesterday, just from those flyers.
Just from doing that. So listen up, everybody. Sam, it's so simple to say, do you have any friends or family who you'd love to travel with? Things like that. And don't just ask the question. Actually, don't just make a statement. Oh, we may have space if you have any friends or family. No. Sam asked the question, do you? And then gave them something that's actionable. This card, which makes it easy. So Sam is now easy to do business with, giving the client the tool, and it's non-confrontational. Not asking for phone numbers. Who can I call? Who can I call? Have them call me. No, people don't jump on phone calls these days, but that postcard is brilliant. So thank you for sharing, Sam.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, we're going to mute you. That was great stuff to share, Sam. I really appreciate that. And everybody be inspired by that, because this VIP thing really does work. People love being treated like a VIP. And just when you thought the price was going to be an issue, it was not. Sam built up that momentum, and now she's going to throw in some surprises. And I'm doing the same with my river cruise too. Now, I did in my marketing, I said we've got a couple of surprises. I didn't build them up, I just a couple of surprises. So they're knowing something's coming. But between us kids here, I'm going to buy everybody lunch in Strasbourg, okay, a catered luncheon, and the timing, it's going to work out beautiful. And we're going to do, I'm going to buy them cocktails. We're going to have a welcome cocktail party in Zurich, probably day 2, because day 1 everybody's probably going to be, And it'd be a nice surprise. And actually, just so you guys know, we're done. We're booked up, and we leave April 17th. But I'm having a Q&A meeting, a Q&A session, February 8th, with everyone who's booked. We're going to use GoToWebinar, and we're going to do just like I'm doing with you. And it's going to be fun, And I'm asking them to send questions too, so that I can make sure I have the answers as well, and really provide. And I'm going to have a whole list of tips too. Let's see who else has stuff here. Dawn says, what a great testimony. Indeed. Go Sam. Thank you, Dawn, for sharing that. Dawn says, love the whole story. Thanks so much for sharing. Ellie says, thank you for sharing. That's awesome. Super inspired. Cool beans. I love when this kind of stuff happens. Gina, thanks you for sharing as well, Sam. And Dawn says, wine, wine, wine. W-I-N-E, wine, wine, wine. Indeed. Yes, yes, yes. Lots. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. So, all right, go ahead. Type in any more questions, issues, but I want to address a couple of things that it came up on the Facebook boards. I just want to roll through them here. I don't know if, well, I know Kelvin, is Kelvin on? I don't know if is Kelvin on? About a commission split. There was a post about, Kelvin, no, who posted that? Was it Belvin? Somebody posted, oh, Sherry's here. Sherry's new in boot camp too, welcome. Jalal is here. Hey, Jay, welcome. Wow, we got such a great candidate. Lauren is here. Linda's in the house. Lori is in the house. Lori, you new boot camp? Lynn is here. Hello, Lynn. I'm going to get to you in just a second, Lynn. Commission split thing. I know it's all over the board here. I can't answer that, my friends. That's why it's, if you can help with this answer to share your experience, because it varies. If the agent brings the lead in, the owner brings the lead in and gives the lead to one of their agents. You know, I don't know the situation. They independent contracted, you already have a contract signed. There definitely has to be some kind of an agreement, because whose client is it? These are the agencies, so you need to have some kind of written thing. That gets all detailed. I'm not going to go down that road, but that's important to address. Lena asked about a money-back guarantee. Does anybody use a money-back guarantee? And while that would sound great, would be awesome, I think it's dangerous, because vacations, just like restaurant food, are so subjective. I can go to a restaurant, have a meal, and say it was the best I've ever had in my life. I want to go back. My friend can go there the next day, have the same meal, or eat at the same table, or share my dish and say, I don't like it. So, you know, of course, we believe everyone's going to love the beach and the sun and the surf and the food and this kind of stuff, but everyone comes back, you know, it's dangerous to give people the opportunity to exercise that. What I would stress is look at the satisfaction guarantee that the supplier offers, and you can use that for the supplier, and if there's a way to potentially guarantee your services, especially not if you're charging a service fee. Of course, you can do that, an extra service fee, but I believe in building it into the package price if you can. But it gets kind of dicey, you know, when you say satisfaction guaranteed. I know you'd love to guarantee your services because you stand by it. You're the best at what you do. But you got to be careful. That's a subject maybe we can have more conversations about, but it's definitely a tough area. Icebreakers, there was some great sharing of great icebreakers. I want to give you my own icebreaker opportunity. But when you get a group together, especially if you're escorting or not, or maybe you're going to do a group presentation to kind of loosen it up, here's something that I use as a professional when I'm speaking and I'm doing. It can't be thousands of people in the audience. Okay, it's great when I do a retreat or a smaller program when it's got to be, I don't know, 50 or less people, let's say, because even then it's hard. When everybody walks in, I will hand out postcards. I go to the dollar store and buy packages of little postcards, right? Index cards, not postcards, index cards, and tell everybody that, you know, see if you can build it into the theme too. That wouldn't it be nice to know that that person sitting next to you has done something that that is amazing, that they're proud of, that he did. And for I'll give you an example. Like when I did the retreat that was called Mission Possible, I looked around and I said, I bet you there's things in your own life that you've done, whether you were a kid and you played the trumpet in the band, or you parasailed or parachuted, things that you look back on that you're so proud of that you don't talk about these days, but you made mission possible when at first you thought it was impossible. So here's the question I ask people. On that postcard, friends, go ahead and write down, what about you would surprise us? I'll say it again. What about you would surprise us? And I give them some examples. And then throughout my presentation, I sprinkle in. I'll pick up 3 cards here, 3 cards there. So it's sort of, you know, it's not just me just teaching and training the whole time, yap, 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 yap. I'm breaking it up with some fun stuff. And then we let people guess, who was it that was the tennis pro back in their teens? Who was it that traveled Europe for a year with backpack? You know, people have done amazing. You have. We all have things that Man, we don't talk about. So that's a great icebreaker. Just shooting it out there. Okay, let me come back here. Oh, Lynn, Lynn, I know we're going to try to connect, but I know, Lynn, you're having this real tough time with this particular group, which looks to me like it's more of an FIT group to put together specific tours, a custom tour group, right? And in the note, it sounds like the group leader says send over some suggestions. Well, to me, it sounds like this person could potentially, and I hate to be the cautious one, I'd like to be the eternal optimist, but they may take your suggestions and go do it themselves. The problem is I don't see, they're not giving you the stuff that you can manage it and put it together. I'm concerned. I'm really concerned, Lynn, because you're not a library. I don't want them to take a book out, return the book, and go ahead and you don't make a penny on this, and they're going to suck you dry of your expertise, your professionalism. I'm nervous. I'm cautious. I'd like to have this conversation with you. I want to see you successful. I want to help you, everybody out there. Listen, folks, we're not libraries. You know, yes, we want to give out lots of free information, but remember, we want to tell them what to do, not how to do it. And why do they need you? They need you because, I'm going to say it again, especially for our newbies here, is only 3 things you do, my friends. Number 1, you reduce stress and risk. Tell them that. And give them examples if they want to know. And number 2, and Nancy, I don't think Nancy's on right, but Nancy CC'd me on an email she sent back to a customer who said, tell me how much, because it's online for this price. You know, it's kind of just a shop thing. Number 2, you add value and convenience. And number 3, you transform the whole experience. You transform an experience from good to great. Good to great. Hey, Michael's in the house. Wow, it's so nice that everybody pops in when you can. All right, let me just take a look. We've got 3 minutes left. I want to check the boards here, see if there's any questions. Please, folks, sign up for the special guest expert series that's coming up. We've got Royal Caribbean. We've got Almer Waterways. We've got Celebrity. Tell me, who else do you need, do you want to hear from, or specific areas that you want to go deeper into? Let me see if I get them on the show here. Normally, these kind of folks respond right away. Oh, Belvin, that's right. You posted it about the commission split. Hi, Sherry. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying the show. The session, I call it a show, but it's not a show. I love this. Lori, just joined last month, already benefiting from your training. Thank you. No, thank you. I am so humbled that you've made this commitment to yourself and your business, and that you bought my product, you bought my package, you're buying me. I'm here for you. I'm so excited. I want to start a group revolution, friends, because people out there, they don't know how to do groups themselves. They need somebody who gets it. It's so risky, right? All right, Dawn says she meant the guarantee on the planning part. Oh, the planning part. Okay, we're talking about Lena's ask, hey, anybody, can you put out a guarantee? Well, we can talk about that more. Dan says, great to add the outside experts. You got it, my friend. We're going to do it. And Lynn says, I had a conversation with the wife this morning, clarified what she wants from me. Beautiful. Awesome. I love to hear it when you have the conversations here, that you're able to talk about it. Okay, we've got 2 minutes left. We've got, don't leave just yet, because an unbelievable question could come up. Oh, let me tell you something. I have, I mentioned earlier, if you guys weren't on super early, that I'm doing a full weekend group boot camp in Port St. Lucie at the Club Med for the Nexion group, and I'm hoping that other organizations are gonna bring me in to do this kind of stuff too. But I want you to know that as I prepare materials, I have a lot of great new stuff that I'm going to be adding to boot camp probably over the next few weeks. I'm probably going to add it as a 5th week of material, but of course, if you're already in, you'll have access to it to go back and forth. So I'm very excited, so I just wanted to share that with you. I want to keep increasing the value. And again, I know there's some stuff that really resonates with you. It resonates different with different people, but I hope that you can use it, put it to work, and go make some money. Belvin says, how can we get some all-inclusive resort experts on your panel? Yes, can we? Absolutely. In fact, I reached out to a good friend of mine, Frank Corzo. He's with Palace Resorts. They run a great organization. I've done their global sales conference for 3 years running. I hope to do it again this year. and I have asked him. So I'm going to find out. I don't know if Frank's going to do it or if somebody in his team's going to do it. But you guys tell me if there's a particular resort group or a wholesale company. You let me know. I'll bring them in. I think that's a great idea, Bob, and I'm going to do it. All right. It is time for me to say thank you. I'm so glad you've been here. I hope you found the session to be helpful, inspirational, motivational, and enjoyable. Now go take on the day. Happy sales. Bye, everybody.